No country can afford to take in millions of people, pay for their education, their health care, their hospitals. You just can't do it. And we all have a heart. You can't do it.
America is a country that will step over its own citizens, sleeping on sidewalks, to hand hotel keys to people who crossed the border yesterday. A country that ignores the suffering of the people who built it, paid into it, fought for it, and died for it, just to prove to the world how compassionate it is. But here's the hard truth. You cannot keep inviting the whole neighborhood into a house that's already on fire. And right now, America is burning. Homelessness is exploding. Wages are flat. Rent is out of control. Schools are collapsing. And cities are overwhelmed. And the people paying the price are not the wealthy. It's Black Americans, working class white Americans, and men without degrees. America loves to call itself a Christian nation. But if we're going to go by the Bible says, if anyone does not provide for his own household, he has denied the faith. And that can be found in 1 Timothy 5:8. So in other words, charity begins at home. But America is doing the opposite. We are importing poverty while refusing to repair the poverty we created. We are rescuing strangers while abandoning citizens. This is not compassion. This is dysfunction.
South LA homeless encampment has grown out of control. Here's NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi.
Sidewalks being blocked and tents can be seen spilling into the street. People who live and work near Avalon Boulevard and 65th Street between Gage and Florence in South LA say this homeless encampment has become dangerous.
All of the homeless have been just taking every space around the block.
It's been very tough around here in our area.
This man, who did not want to be identified, telling NBC4 it has been an ongoing issue for the past year, from trash fires starting to people not feeling safe.
So many homeless over the past year have been putting themselves on the streets.
Now you would think they would take care of home first before inviting in everyone else.
In front of our apartments, we've been getting threatened.
He says numerous reports have been made to the city and that crews have come out to clean the area. But he says the homeless camps then return.
And I think more people need to speak out against this.
News Chopper 4 overhead captured this video of some of the tents blocking the sidewalks.
Every time people have been trying to pass by, they just really couldn't.
Jesse Lopez, who lives nearby, was in the area with his son today.
My only concern is walking on the sidewalk with my boy, that in some parts we have to walk off onto the street. The cars zoom on by real close.
A statement today from Councilmember Curran Price's office, whose district oversees this area, says in part that since January, more than 20 cleanup operations have been coordinated along the Avalon corridor.
Okay, so let's stop pretending. When millions of new workers enter the labor market, many who are desperate, many of them are willing to work for less, then wages don't rise. They fall, or they stagnate, or the job disappears completely. And the people who feel it first and the most are Black men in construction, warehousing, and service work, white men without degrees, young workers trying to get their first job, older workers pushed out of the labor force by cheaper labor, American-born workers without ethnic hiring networks. Those are networks that many immigrants have. For example, if you walk into a McDonald's in somewhere like Los Angeles, California, expecting to get hired, but you see everyone in there is Hispanic or of Latin descent, this is a hiring network. They only hire each other and they lock everyone else out. It didn't used to be like this. Kids, teenagers used to be able to get summer jobs or even part-time jobs at these places. Now, me saying this isn't racism. This is math. I'm just pointing out facts. So, here are the facts. Immigrants' share of the U.S. labor force hit a record 19% in 2024. Non-citizen labor force participation reached 9.2%. That's the highest ever recorded. Low-skill immigration reduced labor income per capita in receiving cities. Employers substitute native-born workers with cheaper immigrant labor. These are facts, and it's not racist or xenophobic to point out what is really going on. This is not an accident, though. This is an economic strategy, and Americans are the collateral damage.
Homelessness in America has been steadily ticking up since 2019. Last year saw an 18% increase from the year before. As Elise Preston reported, older Americans are the fastest growing population of the unhoused. For tonight's interview, we are joined by Dennis Culhane, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, whose research focuses on homelessness and assisted housing policy. Dennis, it's good to be with you. Thanks for being here. The first question is, why is the homeless population getting so much older?
Well, we've had this aging trend that's actually been going on for over 30 years. The population born between 1955 and 1965, that would be the second half of the baby boom generation, they have constituted the largest subsegment of the population since 1990. So what we're seeing is these folks are now between the ages of 60 and 70. And so there, of course, we're seeing all sorts of increases in elderly homelessness as a result.
And why are they uniquely vulnerable, or is it the fact that there are just more of them, because of the baby boom and so forth?
Actually, both of those things are true, because there are more of them that put them at greater risk. And also,
if America can't even take care of their veterans or their elderly, then what are we doing?
They came of age in the early 1980s at a time when there was very high unemployment and housing costs were rising. And so a lot of these folks were unable to get into the labor market by their mid-20s. And so they've struggled for years trying to get a toehold in the workforce.
America already has a housing shortage. So what happens when millions of new people arrive? Well, I'll tell you what happens. It's everything we are seeing and complaining about today. Rent goes up, competition goes up, desperation goes up. These are the facts. Immigration increased rents and home prices in receiving cities. Net immigration hit 3.3 million in 2024, the highest in modern U.S. history. Unauthorized immigration alone added 2.4 million people in 2023 and 2024. And we all know who was responsible for this. Mass immigration invasion. Now he over there sitting back like he don't know what he did. But anyway, so who gets priced out and who's paying the price? Well, I'll tell you. Black families who were never repaired, white working class families, single mothers, elders, young adults, homeless Americans, and veterans. Meanwhile, states and cities are spending billions to house migrants in hotels and shelters, i.e. Chicago, New York, California, Minnesota. We can see the disastrous outcomes. When it was black families in crisis, they said there's no money. When it was white rural families losing homes, they said pull yourself up. But when it was migrants, they suddenly found magic money overnight. Somehow magically, the money appeared. While for Americans, they have a whole carrot on a stick and they keep moving the goalpost.
Virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. You know that? most of the job creation has gone to migrants.
And ICE says it's detained about 450 people after a massive immigration raid at a Hyundai battery plant in Georgia.
Schools are already collapsing under the weight of mass immigration. Like there wasn't already problems. But no, they don't want to fix those. They want to import immigrants and exacerbate the problem. When thousands of non-English speaking students arrive, the entire system shifts. Now the money they couldn't find for American children, it goes to translation services, ESL programs, integration services, cultural liaisons, and specialized staff. And American kids, black, white, and brown, get pushed to the back of the line. These are the facts. Immigration heavy districts spend up to 30% more on ESL services. U.S. reading and math scores drop to their lowest level in decades. Now, they are trying to tell us that the mass immigration influx has nothing to do with it. Now, I'm not saying all problems derive from immigration. I'm saying the problem that we had were never fixed. And on top of that, they're making them worse because schools with rapid immigration inflows show declines in native-born student performance. And you're not going to tell me that these educated elected officials don't know this already. That's why this has to be part of their plan. They have to be doing this or allowing this on purpose. Nobody ever moved this fast for Black literacy. Nobody ever moved this fast for poor white kids. Nobody ever moved this fast for American-born children at all. This is not equality. This is displacement, and I have a real problem with this.
Rates continue. The LA Tenants Union is calling for an eviction moratorium. They say thousands of immigrants will be unable to pay their bills come July 1st because avoiding detainment is taking priority over going to work.
This militarization of our community, this occupation of our community, this terrorizing of our communities have closed.
One thing I can say about immigrants, not only are they entitled, but they have audacity.
Down businesses, have taken away street vendors, have separated families, and then people cannot pay their rent. They have barely the minimum to survive. We need the city to put a rent freeze. We need the city to protect tenants that are going to be suffering this 1st of July when they're going to be receiving 3-day notices because they cannot pay their rent.
The union is also calling for a citywide day of action and organization on July the 1st.
So immigrants like to say, have compassion. We came from hardship. But when Americans, especially Black Americans, talk about our struggles, suddenly the tone changes. They say things like, you're lazy. You had opportunities. That's your problem. And the news media loves to exploit these immigrants for sympathy to assist in their agenda. Earlier this week, I had told an immigrant woman that America has thousands of homeless people who need help too. Because the news network was doing a piece on her. It was coverage of her saying that she didn't file her paperwork on time, and neither did her parents when she was younger. So she was going to be at risk for deportation along with her young son. And guess what she said? She said that's their problem and they should have worked harder. Okay, but she wanted compassion for her own situation, including not having her paperwork together. So I told her the same empathy that you just gave the homeless, that's the empathy I have for you. I wasn't being cruel. That's not cruelty. That's justice. That's the right answer because everyone has a story, but there is no sympathy for Americans. And how this immigration invasion is affecting us, nobody cares.
The Department of Homeland Security is banning states and volunteer organizations that receive federal disaster relief funds from assisting undocumented immigrants. The new rules were first reported in a Washington Post analysis, citing interviews with federal emergency management officials. DHS will mandate that disaster relief groups receiving federal dollars cooperate with immigration authorities and enforcement.
Now, for so long, immigrants told us they came over here with $2.15. They worked harder than us. So why are they the ones on these programs?
How this will work, rooting out the illegals who are on government welfare and housing.
Well, Charlie, it's great to be with you. And you alluded to it. President Trump is serious, not only in cleaning up the crime in our streets, but also American citizens will be prioritized when it comes to living in HUD-funded, government-funded housing. We just sent out a letter to the D.C. Housing Authority, and it has been received by them. And as you said, they have 30 days to give us a full, comprehensive account of everyone living inside of D.C. housing authorities that are receiving Section 8 vouchers or any type of HUD funding. We want the names, the address, the number of people in the unit, the size of the unit, the cost of the unit, and they must give us their American citizenship status or eligible immigration status. No longer.
So it seems not only they've been given a hand up, but handouts.
No longer will we allow illegal aliens to live in taxpayer-funded housing here in America. In the last administration, in the Biden administration, Charlie, they turned a blind eye. They didn't collect the data, but those.
So let me say this real quick. People love to say Black immigrants are doing better than Black Americans, but that's misleading because Black immigrants are a small percentage of the Black population here in the United States. They're too small to outperform Black Americans as a whole. So let's look at what is true. Some Black immigrants arrive with selective advantages. They are not sending their poor. They are not sending their everyday immigrant. They are sending people who go through a very selective process. Number two, their children often integrate into higher paying fields because if they can hire, they, meaning the corporations, the businesses, can hire a person of color, any person of color other than a native Black American, then they can always say that they have met their diversity quota. And they often prefer having other quote unquote Black immigrants because they are more docile and less likely to stand up for themselves. Another reason their success is used as political weapon to politically mask Native Black American stagnation. These are facts. Another one is Black immigrants make up only 10% of the Black population in the U.S. Native Black-born Americans still face larger racial wealth gaps. And another one is Black American unemployment remains double the white rate. So it's not necessarily true when people like to say Black immigrants come over here and do quote unquote better. You have to take all things into account. The Black immigrant outcomes are weaponized against Black Americans to silence us, the people who built this country and never got paid for it.
In 2 decades. Now, also, state funds, $160 million were issued to illegal alien job assistance shelters in Chicago. You're the mayor of Chicago. Do you think that your residents or the residents of your state should be paying for that more than they should be paying?
Politicians like Brandon Johnson have destroyed some of America's most beautiful cities.
Paying for their own needs. their own roads, their own public safety. I mean, who elected you? The people that came illegally, whether they were sent to you or not, or the people that reside in Chicago? Who elected you? And who do you serve?
The people of...
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb!
Immigration is not just a Black issue. It's an American issue, especially white working class and white working class men without degrees. They've been hit hard too, because the facts are white male labor force participation has fallen for 60 years. They have the highest unalivings of despair among the white working class. Manufacturing job loss hit white men very hard too, as well as just the white working class as a whole. So immigration affects all working class Americans regardless of race. America has created a new economy. It's not digital, not green, and it's not manufacturing, but it's the compassion economy. This is an economy where suffering is a currency, where the loudest pain gets the most resources, where the newest arrivals get priority over the people who've been here for generations. Compassion is not infinite. It runs out, especially when it's being weaponized against the American people. Budgets are not infinite. Money is not infinite. Here in America, the media is complicit in trying to suck the American people dry for sympathy for illegal immigrants who aren't supposed to be in the country anyway. The American people are tired of being put on the back burner. Take a look at how immigration has dominated the news cycle. It's dominated political policy. We as Americans haven't gotten a substantial piece of policy passed that would progress us in the right direction, and I don't remember when.
Let's go back to the Bible since y'all love to do that. Let me pick out a verse from the Bible and focus on that just like y'all do. Psalm 105 verse 15 says, "Do not touch my chosen people. Do not harm my prophets." And guess what? You guys are doing that. You are hurting his people. You are hurting my people. You are hurting all dreamers. You are hurting all immigrants that came to the U.S. What is so hard and difficult to understand that all we want is a better life. Everything that's going on right now is because of your president and your decision to follow him, to vote for him, to support him, and to praise him. You all knew from the first time that we had him as president what he did and what he wanted to keep doing. So why would that change his second term around? To all you Trumpies out there, I just want you guys to know that we'll be back. Dreamers always find a way. And if you're so scared of us taking your jobs, then work harder. Work hard like we do.
Every dollar that goes somewhere is a dollar that doesn't go somewhere else. And look, I'm not trying to be hateful. This is not hatred. This is math. This is the truth. These are facts. This is survival. There's a lot of pressure on Americans these days, but especially Black America. Black America is just not competing with the economy now. Black America is competing with global migration. And there are several studies showing how immigration in all forms negatively impact Black America. And for these politicians, especially these Democrats, to get up here and act like they don't know this, it's trifling, it's manipulative, and it's absolutely disgusting. You cannot fix a community that is under-resourced, that has been under-resourced for 400 years by giving its resources to everybody else. You cannot close the racial wealth gap by opening the door to millions of new workers who will take the lowest wages. They are absolutely trying to destroy America, but especially Black America. And Black America is fighting two battles: the battle for equality and the battle for economic oxygen. And nobody wants to talk about it.
One witness who testified that after he had run the numbers, he found that 40% of the decline in labor participation rates among Black workers over 3 decades was attributable to competition from illegal immigration. It comes to nearly 1 million fewer jobs for Black Americans as a result of the competition from illegal immigrants.
And yes, there's pressure on white America, especially the white working class. Many Americans, no matter what race, are dealing with the aftermath of this mass immigration. But you cannot tell somebody to just adapt, because you can't adapt your way out of a disappearing economy. Americans are not losing because they're lazy. Americans are struggling. They're losing because the rules change in this political game.
That 61% of illegal immigrant households collect some sort of welfare, which is almost double the rate of people born in the United States. The Washington Times reports that children have a significant role in getting that aid. Let's bring in the author of that article, Washington Times political editor Stephen Dinan. Stephen, great to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us. So break this down for us. How is it that children play this role in helping households led by illegal immigrants to get 61% of which get some kind of welfare?
Yeah, you think that generally there's this sense that illegal immigrants aren't eligible for welfare benefits. And by and large, that's true. There are some exceptions, pregnant women, and there are actually some tax credits that can go to illegal immigrants who are here but who have work permits. But most of that welfare use is coming to their U.S.-born children to illegal immigrant-headed households. So you have a parent or two parents who are here illegally, but they have children who are born here, and that's very common, and those are U.S. citizen children. They're entitled to welfare, all sorts of benefits, food, school lunch programs, food stamps, even housing assistance can go to those U.S. citizen children, and so of course that floats the whole family. So 61% of these families, as you said, use at least one welfare benefit, and the welfare use is pretty consistent across those programs I just talked about. Those kids, Medicaid is another big one. It's called the Women, Infant, and Children program, and they're eligible for that as well. So it's the children that are the sort of the access point here. Yeah, and the real interesting thing here is that it's not that the immigrant families don't work as hard or that they aren't taking jobs. In fact, the studies generally show that they work at a higher rate than.
Listen, the jig is up. Americans work hard too. They just won't work for these low wages. How do you think the country was built?
Native-born population. The issue is that most immigrants, or immigrants as a whole, and illegal immigrants in particular, they're less educated, less skilled. The profile of the average illegal immigrant coming is less skilled, and therefore they're going to need more assistance. They earn less and end up needing more assistance to live and remain here in the U.S.
So at this point, you just have to be prepared for whatever. Because if America continues down this path, they are heading toward a future where the poor fight the poor, the working class fights the working class, the desperate fight the desperate. Because when resources shrink, people don't unite, they compete. America is not just facing an immigration crisis. America is facing a capacity crisis. We are filled to capacity. And to keep importing people is illogical. I don't believe it's America's obligation to solve the world's problems. If America continues to neglect its own people, it's only going to lead to destruction. And if we don't talk about it now, we won't have the luxury of talking about it later. Because the little resemblance we have of America now won't be recognizable in the future.
Whole race of people here, Hispanic people, just claiming that they're the hardest working people that there is. If you're so hard working, why Mexico so?
Tell me.
I got issues with that. I got issues with a lot of things. You got T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon, Wells Fargo, Starbucks. You got CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, all Hispanic staffs right here in LA. Nobody stand up to fight against them. Why is that?
Well, let me ask you a question. Why is it that you think they're hiring them over African Americans?
Racism. You have in California, you have a huge population of homeless Americans. These are American citizens living on the streets. You don't see any illegal immigrants living on the streets because they're housed.
So I'm absolutely with putting America first. This video is not anti-immigrant. It's anti-abandoning Americans. America cannot fix global poverty by importing it. America cannot keep ignoring the people who were here first. Compassion matters, but compassion without boundaries destroys nations. And right now, America is at a breaking point.
Tonight said Daly College is an ideal location because it's move-in ready and a fraction of the cost of a hotel. But many in the crowd didn't want to hear it.
When do citizens of the United States of America come first?
On the southwest side, city officials getting an earful.
How about this? Give them all these politicians' addresses and put them in their backyards, in their basements, in their houses.
This meeting at Richard J. Daly College comes as the city, starting as early as this weekend, prepares to use this gymnasium until August 1st, and 2 auxiliary classrooms on the campus through the end of November to shelter more than 400 migrants.
This is about being human and providing humane spaces for them.
I serve my country. We need to give these immigrants a chance.
And I agree with the woman at the podium. We need to send the immigrants to those people who are out there protesting, who live behind their gates.
A debate igniting anger about how the city for decades has treated its poor.
We do not take care of our own people. There's no resources taken from our shelter system and the housing within our shelter system, as well as outreach agencies who providing services on the street.
This gathering comes a day after the city council at a heated meeting approved $51 million in emergency migrant funding. That money only expected to last through the end of this month.
You speak very much about the money. It's our money. Every dollar you give is our money.
Last weekend, migrants began moving into Wright College on the northwest side.
The way this immigration situation is going, it's time that we draw a line in the sand. At some point, America has to stop pretending this is sustainable. We cannot keep burning the house down while arguing about who deserves a seat at the table. We cannot keep sacrificing the people who built this country just to prove a point to the world or for political theater or just out of selfishness. A nation that refuses to protect its own people is a nation preparing for its own downfall. The people paying the price aren't the elites. They aren't the politicians. They aren't the ones writing think pieces from gated communities. The people paying the price is the working class. It's the poor. It's the people who were told to wait their turn and then watch their turn get erased or given to a group of people who just got here yesterday. The people who America owes are Black Americans, white working class families, and legal immigrants who follow all the rules. Although my personal belief is that there should be a halt on all forms of immigration in America until America gets its own ish together.
Ways they get free medical care that burdens the
will
system.
now have to pay for their open borders policies. Medicaid was subsidizing open borders. How? Illegals don't have health insurance, so they can't go to the regular doctor. They go to the ER, and the ER by law cannot turn them away. So that's how they're getting medical care. I just saw a report that said 55% of ER physicians' time is spent on this uncompensated care. With Medicaid cuts, now what's going to happen is this is going to leave a hole in the budget of these hospitals that was filled by our tax dollars. So the Democrat states, cities, they're going to have to address this hole. They're finally going to have to bear the cost of their open borders policies. They don't get to use other people's money anymore.
Taxpayers' money has been going to fraud, scams, and illegal immigrants.
All these people marching around with their "No one is illegal" sign, guess what? Now you can pay for it.
And let's be real about it. Black Americans are the people that America keeps abandoning. So, yeah, we want America to draw a line in the sand. And here's the line in the sand. If we don't put Americans first, now, not later, there won't be an America left to argue about. This isn't hatred. This isn't fear. This isn't division. You're seeing it in real time, the way this country is going. This is survival. This is reality. This is the truth that nobody else wants to talk about. Everybody wants to talk about the fluff and how great and how wonderful this immigration is for the country, but nobody wants to talk about the other side. There's always two sides. And to always deny the bad and the downside of immigration is dishonest, and it's only making things worse. So yeah, I think the house is on fire. And I think the people who are holding the door, the politicians, they are running out of excuses. And it's not going to be able to be contained. And it's only going to lead to more issues, more problems, and the downfall of America as we know it.
Chapasse! My discharge petition to extend temporary protected status for 3 years just passed the House with a 224 victory comprised of independents, Democrats, and Republicans. This has been a fight and an effort in the making for many, many weeks. We have had an aggressive, my team and I, an aggressive whip effort to earn these votes, both sides of the aisle. And now we are off.
Look at how hard they fight for immigrants and how they get policy passed for immigrants, but not the American people. The only time you see them is when they need your vote.
To the Senate, I think, with an impressive and decisive mandate about the need to extend temporary protected status for our Haitian neighbors, 360,000 Haitian nationals that call this country home, who contribute to civic life, to culture, to our workforce, and to our economy. And understanding this fight was not just in defense of my constituents. I represent the third largest Haitian diaspora in the country. I co-chair the House Haiti Caucus. It's not just in defense of the 350,000 Haitian nationals that call this country home. It's in defense of each and every one of us because of the roles that they play in community.
All I can say is compassion is not enough. If Americans have rules and laws to follow, so should everyone else. They should not get a pass. I mean, illegal is illegal and temporary is temporary. Our schools and our children are suffering, and they won't be able to survive the way this country is going.
Democrats want to prioritize the health care of illegal aliens over a government shutdown, because if the government does shut down, American
Excuse
employees are going
me,
to be furloughed.
stop it right there. We're not prioritizing. What we're doing is saying simply we want to keep the government open, and we want to work with the Republicans and have a bipartisan agreement to keep this government open, and health care is at the top of our agenda.
The Democrat playbook is to talk in circles, give vague answers, never answer the original question, and then when all else
Democrats
fails,
are
they become
demanding health care
combative.
for everybody. We want to save lives. We want to make sure that health care is available to those who would die, but having the help of their government.
So you're good with the government shutdown, even if it means giving health care to...
The answer is yes. Yes, they want illegal immigrants to have health care when some Americans don't have it.
people who aren't American citizens.
Well, that's what you're pushing on. What you're trying to do is you're standing here and you're trying to make me say that somehow we're going to put non-citizens over Americans. Quit it.
Mass immigration comes at a cost, but the only people who have to pay it are the American citizens, the working class, the working poor.
If you enter this country legally, it's a crime. If you remain in this country legally and you ignore a judge's order about deporting, if you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in this country legally, you put yourself in that position. You put your family in that position. What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested the children depart with them. This was a parental decision, parenting 101. The mothers made that choice. And I tell you what, if we didn't do it, the story today would be Trump administration separating families again. No, we're keeping families together. So when a parent says, I want my 2-year-old baby to go with me, we made that happen. They weren't deported. We don't deport U.S. citizens. The parents made that decision, not the United States government. But I don't hear any.
Yeah, the parents and the mother, they need to take accountability.
Questions about Laken Riley had a mother. She's never going to see her child again. Rachel Morin, she had 5 children. Those children are never going to see their mom again. This administration is doing the right thing. Every public safety.
I think immigrants and illegal immigrants have been getting away with so much for so long, using so many loopholes, that enforcing American laws seems harsh to them.
From this country and remove them, this country is much safer. So parents will make a decision what happens to their child. Having a U.S. citizen child does not make you immune from our laws. If that's the message we send the entire world, enter the country legally. It's a crime. Don't worry about it. Get order removed by an immigration judge. Don't worry about it. No one's looking for you. And have a U.S. citizen child, and you're immune from our laws, you're never going to fix the border. People will keep putting themselves in harm's way. More women would die. More children would die crossing this border. We got a secure border by enforcing our laws. We're not making this up. We're enforcing laws under statute enacted by Congress, and it's the right thing to do.